I'm Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law, and I'm speaking today about US-based immigration options for individuals who are in Ukraine and looking to leave as soon as possible. First, I'd like to say we're so sorry for the situation in Ukraine. We are thinking of everybody who's affected, whether they are physically present in Ukraine or whether they are family members or loved ones, friends, teammates who are located around the world. We're hoping for peace for everyone as soon as possible. I'd also like to make clear that there are no US immigration options that are immediate solutions. Unless you have a valid visa in your passport that you can use immediately, there is not an option that will extract a person from a dangerous situation and allow them to come to the United States immediately. One of the options that we're receiving questions about a lot now is asylum. And unfortunately, a person has to be physically present in the United States in order to file asylum. So if a person is able to enter the United States on a visitor's visa, for example, or really any other way, or present themselves at the port of entry, they can apply for asylum. Our practice does not handle asylum, so if that's something that you're interested in, we would refer that out to a trusted colleague. Another option could be for an individual seeking to leave the situation to apply for refugee status. Refugees are settled in the United States, but that's not something that a private immigration attorney like our office would be involved in. Instead, they would apply for refugee status and then be settled by an agency by the UN, and they may be settled in the US ultimately, or it may be a different country. It is possible to apply for humanitarian parole that's designed for emergency situations where a person needs to come to the United States urgently because of an emergency situation. I will say that humanitarian parole has been used for the situation in Afghanistan that developed at the end or towards the end of 2021. And there are thousands of humanitarian parole applications that were filed. The vast majority are still pending with USCIS. We have also heard numerous reports of just straight denials without requests for evidence. USCIS has suggested that the humanitarian parole is not an appropriate option for someone in this type of situation where there's a crisis in the country and they need to leave. If my loved one were in or teammate were in Ukraine or another dangerous situation, I would be exploring all options. So I want you to know that that could be a possibility, but it's very possible that it would be denied. We also don't know what the processing time will ultimately look like. There are traditional US immigration routes. So as I said, if a person has a valid visa, they may be able to enter the United States using that visa and then come up with a longer term immigration plan once they're here. It could be that a person could apply for a visa at a US consulate. Please remember that those are highly discretionary. They're not guaranteed to be approved at all. And it may be logistically difficult to even schedule an interview at a US consulate, both getting out of Ukraine and then just having an interview scheduled apart from the situation in Ukraine is challenging because of the COVID situation. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it could be challenging. And then, of course, you could sponsor a person for permanent residence, depending on the family relationship or the employment relationship. That is likely a years-long process, so it's not an immediate solution. You could certainly begin the process if you haven't already, but you would probably want to look into other options in addition to that because it is not an immediate solution. And then finally, it is most important at this point for individuals who are in Ukraine to try to get to a safe location as soon as possible. As I said, there's not really a solution based in US immigration law that is going to allow a person to come to the United States immediately, short of them already having a valid visa. So it's important for them to get to a safe place, whether that's in the western part of Ukraine or in a different country, and then have the chance to develop a long-term immigration strategy from there. I'm so sorry that there aren't faster, more immediate solutions. And again, we're thinking of everyone that's impacted. If you have questions, please feel free to contact our office, and we are happy to help as much as we can or to refer you out to colleagues who may be able to do so.